everyone. Today I want to talk about triggers and anxiety. Triggers were the scariest things for me. And what I mean about triggers is it was anything that brought more anxiety onto me from just thinking or hearing about something. For example, if I would hear someone talk about having a panic attack, I would think about having a panic attack. If I heard someone talking about a scary movie, I'd get scared about that scary movie. And it would evolve into people just talking about the most basic things, and that would trigger me. And it was a really complex cycle because I felt like there was no way to get out of it. But once I was triggered, my mind was on that alert and that alarm bell was on, and everything became scary and fearful. And I did therapy, which was fantastic, and I did energy healing, which really helped. I exercised, which was a magic part of healing. And I also adjusted my diet, which was also a big part. However, those triggers still would be in the back of my mind. And I learned that, when something happens, our complete five senses encapsulate that. So if I got scared by something, say someone said something at the dinner table and I was eating during that, whatever I ate was now a trigger. Whatever I was smelling was now a trigger. Whatever I was thinking about, those thoughts became a trigger. The people in front of me, the things I was wearing, it started to literally snowball, that all these things became triggers to me. So even though I understood this rationally, irrationally, which is what anxiety is, it's irrational fear, irrationally, I was scared of the world. So I had to learn step by step, baby step by baby step, to challenge each one of these triggers. And I didn't challenge it head on like fighting it, because fighting it never worked for me. It may work for you. I know there's exposure therapy, and that works fabulously for some people. And it did eventually work in some areas for me. So there's never an always or never situation in healing from anxiety. However, what I needed to do was just in my mind, without fighting, without confrontation, saying, this just isn't true. And my mantra, I write about this in my book, was don't take the bait. So I didn't take the bait of the trigger. And what I mean by that is, if someone said something about something that was fearful to me in the past, the old me, right, the old way I would deal with it is my mind would spiral out of control and it would become a trigger and I would go into panic, and that could last for days, weeks, being scared about this. When I was dealing with OCD, I had to find a way to get out of it because the obsession was the trigger and the compulsion was to try and find a way out of that trigger. And it was tiring, it was time consuming, it was all in, and I had no time to live in the real world because I was living in my brain. So those baby steps of me saying, it's just not true, don't take the bait, was something that worked for me, that little by little, I started to change the thought patterns and the habits in my brain. So, maybe someone said something about a movie that was scary, that scared the heck out of me in the past. I would say, is it really true that it's scary? And even if my brain said yes or no, the fact that I was confronting it a little and saying, that doesn't need to scare me, maybe it can change my thoughts about that, was enough for me to try it again the next day, and again the next day. And all I kept saying in my head was, don't take the bait, is it true? Those two little phrases were a lifeline for me. because I got to have the power, not anything that was out there, but it was my power that was deciding what I was going to be scared of or not. And when you start with that, the rest is amazing.